I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that because that'll tarnish his legacy as well as my legacy.
Let's see at 46 how hard Manny works, and if he still got it. I wouldn't completely count him out. That's all I'm gonna.
Manny Pacquiao is officially back, and this is not some exhibition fight against a YouTuber or an easy match with no real stakes. He's jumping straight into the fire against the current WBC welterweight champ, Mario Barrios. The fight is reportedly set for July 19th in Las Vegas. Pacquiao is already in camp, looking sharp, fast, and surprisingly fresh. The boxing world is stunned, and even Floyd Mayweather had something to say after seeing leaked footage of Manny's training. So, what's really going on here? Let's break it all down. Some fighters are born to defy the odds, and Manny Pacquiao is proof of that. At 46 years old, the legendary Filipino boxer is stepping back into the ring, ready to challenge Father Time and a dangerous young contender in one of the most talked about comebacks in boxing history. His opponent is none other than Mario Barrios, a 29-year-old rising star with youth, speed, and hunger on his side.
46-year-old Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to face 29-year-old Mario Barrios for the WBC Welterweight Championship on July 19th in Las Vegas. That's according to an
Pacquiao originally hung up his gloves on September 29, 2021, ending a historic career that spanned over 2 decades, 8 weight divisions, and countless unforgettable moments. Most people believed that was the end of the road. But now, 4 years later, he's lacing up the gloves again, this time with gold on the line.
This is wild news. Look, in the boxing underground rumor mill, this had been floating around for a couple months. We just didn't know if it was going to be for real. Was Manny really going to commit to not just coming back after 4 years away, after just one fight in the last 6 years, at age 46, but to come back directly into a title fight against a young, in his prime, active champion, Mario Barrios? It's interesting theater, to say the least. It's a pay-per-view main event, reportedly for July.
Set for July 2025, Pacquiao versus Barrios will be for the WBC welterweight title, a belt Pacquiao once held with pride. This fight is officially approved under a WBC rule that lets legendary champions request title shots when they return from retirement. This rule is reserved for fighters of Pacquiao's status and legacy.
Pacquiao last fought in 2021 when he lost to Yordenis Ugas. Barrios won the WBC welterweight title from Ugas in 2023. His last fight was a split decision against Abel Ramos on the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson undercard in November. Pacquiao career record 62-8-2 with 39 knockouts. Barrios 29-2-1.
To put this generational clash into perspective, when Pacquiao made his pro debut at age 16, Mario Barrios hadn't even been born yet. Fast forward nearly 3 decades, and the two are set to face off in what can only be called a modern-day gladiator fight. An aging lion with endless wisdom and fire versus a young predator hungry for glory. Since the fight announcement, Pacquiao hasn't wasted a second. Training camp is full speed ahead, and leaked footage from his gym sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Fans expected to see an aging veteran trying to find a spark. But what they saw instead was vintage PacMan. Fast, sharp, explosive. He moved with the speed and precision of a fighter in his prime, not a man nearing 50. The video sparked debate on social media. Is Pacquiao truly back? Could he really pull this off? Or is this just his final blaze of glory before the curtain falls? One thing is clear. Whether you're supporting the legend or betting on the future, this fight is shaping up to be more than just a comeback. It's a clash of eras.
I'm not saying the odds will be high that he's going to come back and pull this upset or even be ultra competitive. But again, it's sort of like Manny's already superhuman. Turning pro at like age 15 or 16 at 106 pounds and winning titles in 8 divisions. And oh, by the way, 2 fights ago for Manny in 2019, he came out of retirement and beat an unbeaten Keith Thurman for the welterweight title at the age of 40. There's very few greats that you can call all-time greats, and I think sometimes even above that category, there's that upper room. Is Manny Pacquiao one of those in boxing history? Sure.
Another video of Manny Pacquiao recently went viral online. And no, it's not from training camp or sparring. It's just him casually moving around a room. But what's amazing is that even in this relaxed setting, Pacquiao's speed is jaw-dropping. The man moves like he's in his 20s. It's like his hands are on fast forward while the rest of the world plays in real time.
It'll become a habit. When you sort of back in like, woo, woo.
The speed is still there. Woo!
What this shows us is something fans have quietly suspected for a while. Pacquiao never really stopped training. Even during retirement, when he was officially out of the ring, the fire never left. He's a true warrior, and that speed, which is supposed to be the first thing to go as fighters age, is still there. Everyone in boxing knows the saying, speed fades first, power is the last to leave. But Manny clearly didn't get that memo because his speed is still there, and it's scary.
Couple things. The last thing to go is power, yes. Manny was also absurdly fast in his prime. So like a Roy Jones Jr. who hung on far too long, but was still fighting professionally at the age of 50, he still got speed that kind of compares to the average or above average speed that's out there today.
It's honestly kind of unreal. Pacquiao is one of those rare people who seem to succeed at everything he tries. Outside the ring, he wasn't just relaxing or doing media tours. He was running for the Senate in the Philippines. Politics, public, service, boxing. The man is a machine. It really makes you wonder, how does someone juggle all of this and still manage to move like that?
That's how aside from boxing, I entered the politics because I want to serve honestly, to help the people. And I want to be an example, to be a good example to the politician here in the Philippines.
The answer is mindset. Manny isn't just chasing paychecks, he's chasing greatness. You can feel it. The energy is similar to when George Foreman made his legendary comeback in the 90s and shocked the world by becoming heavyweight champ at 45. Now Pacquiao is trying to do something similar, but in a division where speed, reflexes, and endurance are even more important.
We know Manny Pacquiao has always brought big business, but now he's going to bring it in more of the late career George Foreman type of way to etch himself into that record book even further. Can Manny do it? I mean, look, the odds are certainly against him, but there's one thing about certain legends in this game. Think Bernard Hopkins, who fought into a very late age. Some of them, as long as they can physically get themselves into that ring, sometimes they can reproduce magic for one night. So it's a romantic situation. I got cats walking around.
Yep.
People are excited to see the PacMan back. You just got to kind of figure out, is this for real? Is he going to be for real? Or are we going to send him into a physical, violent retirement?
And let's not forget, people are starting to take serious notice. One of the biggest names to react recently was Joe Rogan. On his podcast, Joe was blown away watching footage of Pacquiao's comeback. You could hear the shock in his voice.
And still can crack, and still as fast as lightning.
He talked about how it just doesn't make sense for someone to fight like that at age 46. Rogan even praised Pacquiao's genetics, especially his famously massive calves.
And he's such an unusual guy. You know what's crazy about him is his calves.
Yeah.
When you look
massive.
at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
That's when his guest, boxer George Kambosos Jr., jumped in and explained it. According to Kambosos, Pacquiao's calves aren't just for show. They're the result of decades of hard training, hill sprints, endless road work, and intense lower body workouts. That explosiveness, that bounce in his step, all of it comes from how he trains. It's not magic. It's discipline and dedication at the highest level.
The reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big. Because he's always constantly running mountains. And I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
My calves started getting bigger and bigger. But I understand, why his calves are huge. But he's always bouncing, he's always moving around.
Yes.
Like, he'll bounce for like 20-something rounds. He'll do his pads and he's jumping up and down. And he really is an unbelievable person, unbelievable athlete, and a legend of the sport. I think as time progresses, people are really going to appreciate his.
When you think about it, it's easy to underestimate a guy coming out of retirement. We assume they're rusty, slow, and just chasing a last payday. But with Pacquiao, that story doesn't fit. Every new video that appears shows a fighter who looks sharper than many guys currently in the top 10. That's what makes this comeback so interesting. He's not just showing up for a farewell fight, he's stepping in to fight Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. That's a serious opponent and a real challenge. It also says a lot that the WBC approved it because they know who Manny Pacquiao is. He's not a nostalgic sideshow. He's a legend who might still have what it takes. Pacquiao's return to boxing didn't just shock fans, it caught the attention of one very familiar face, Floyd Mayweather. The sudden move from politics back to the ring raised eyebrows across boxing. But maybe the most interesting reaction came from Pacquiao's longtime rival. These two share one of the most famous histories in modern boxing. For years, Floyd never missed a chance to throw verbal jabs Manny's way, trash talk, mockery, dismissive interviews, you name it. Their rivalry was intense and often personal. But now things are different. Surprisingly, Mayweather took a more respectful tone when asked about Pacquiao's comeback. In a rare moment of humility, Floyd called Manny one of the greatest boxers of all time. That's a huge statement from a man who's never been shy about his own greatness.
Manny Pacquiao, I think that he's one of the best. He's one of the best.
Floyd also reflected on their long-awaited fight back in 2015, the bout called the Fight of the Century. He admitted that they didn't fight at the perfect time in their careers, but noted that at least they did fight. It was a respectful nod to history, recognizing the importance of that night, even if it came a few years later than it should have.
We didn't come together when we wanted to, but we were able to come together and get the fans.
But then came the million-dollar question. Would Floyd ever consider stepping back in the ring with Pacquiao for a rematch? The answer, not likely. Mayweather made it clear he's not interested. He said another fight between them could harm both their legacies. In his words, it wouldn't do justice to what they've already done. Whether you agree or not, you have to respect that mindset. Floyd's undefeated. Pacquiao's a legend. They've cemented their legacies. Running it back now could just muddy the waters.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that because that'll tarnish his legacy as well as mine.
So while the world watches Pacquiao gear up for a title fight in 2025, don't expect Mayweather to be across the ring from him again. Still, the mutual respect between two once bitter rivals is something fans didn't expect, and it's a powerful reminder of how time can turn even the fiercest rivalries into moments of grace. But what about you, fight fans? Do you think Manny Pacquiao still has the drive to climb boxing's mountain once again? Do you see his upcoming fight against the young champion as a mismatch? Or do you really believe the Filipino legend has a real shot at beating him and reclaiming the welterweight title?